In today's video, we've got a race report from the Black River Trail Classic 85K from October 21st, 2023. Welcome back, or welcome to the Rompin' Round channel. This fall, I got the opportunity to run the Black River Trail Classic 85K distance. This is a race that has been run since 2017, just at shorter distances, including a 50K distance, 25K distance, and a 10K distance. This was the second year of the 85K, which I ran. Participants got this nice black hooded sweatshirt, as well as the winter cap. Race ended up being about 53 miles and was an excellent experience overall. I wanted to share a little bit about my efforts that I put in, as well as the beauty that I experienced along the way. Enjoy.
The Black River State Forest is in west central Wisconsin, and the trees ended up being much more vibrant and colorful than is seen here. The 85K race is comprised of 3 loops. The first loop is a 10K, or about 6 miles. The second loop is about 50K, or 31 miles. And the third loop is 25K, or about 17 miles. The Black River State Forest spans 68,000 acres and is comprised of mainly pine and oak woods under high sandstone abutments. There's plenty of recreational opportunities there, including camping, canoeing, hunting, hiking, skiing, and ATV riding, along with trail running. Elk were also released there in 2015 and 2016 and can be seen roaming the forest as well. It truly was a gift to be able to spend a full day here during peak fall colors. We started off the day bright and early at 5 a.m. Well, maybe it wasn't so bright because it was before the sun rose. But the stars were beautiful, and that made the first 10K nice and easy.
All right, we are at the Black River Trail Classic 85K, which is going to end up to be about somewhere around 50 miles, kind of near Black River Falls, Wisconsin, Millston, Black River State Forest. We're about 10K in, and that is the end of the first lap. There's a 10K lap, a 50K lap, and then a 25K lap. And about a little over an hour in, so I think it was like hour 5 or so at the 10K mark. So slow and easy, feeling out the hip. So far feels okay. Keeping it conversational, all day pace. And yeah, started at 5 a.m. So a little early for ya boy, but we got her done. We got out of bed and keep on chugging along. Beautiful day. Stars were pristine this morning, and one of the reasons why you do these things. Great. Touch base in a bit.
It was a perfectly clear morning, which made for a beautiful sunrise as the sun burnt off the morning fog.
16 miles in and dealing with a little bit of packed sand here. Started off on kind of grassy trails and a lot of sticks down since it is a state forest. A lot of twigs, a lot of trips. No falls yet, knock on wood. And had a little bit of gravel. Now we're to pack sand. pretty runnable first portion of the 50K loop, which I expected, and sounds like the second half is going to be a lot of up and down. It's going to be a beast, so just have to get ready for that. But feeling all right. Hips doing okay. Flying solo right now. Just hoping I don't blow up, I guess. And take what the day gives us. But yeah, I got some beautiful colors here. Peak fall foliage in a state forest. Can't beat it.
The vibrant colors all around me made it a little bit easier to want to keep on going throughout the day. The trail on the forest floor was sometimes like a carpet of these freshly dropped leaves.
Back half of the 50K loop, and the fun begins. Time to climb.
And with all that climbing, of course, I was rewarded with some pretty sweet views along the way.
Fast downhill. Beautiful yellows along the way. Wow. Just so vibrant. Wonderful.
It was tough to capture all of the uniqueness of this environment, but I certainly understand why it's protected.
32 miles in, and starting to fade a little bit, but we're doing okay. Still got great colors all around us. The trail has now changed and a little bit more gnarly, and a lot of packed grass, just a little bit more uneven, so it's been slow going. Feeling more like a strength workout than a run. Every step is kind of a lot more of a push off than a jog. So we're doing it though.
This part of the course was remote and enjoyable, but certainly tougher to run on given the terrain being overgrown grass and even some bushwhacking at some points.
A little bit of a situation with directions and drop bags. Had to do some wayfinding, so hopefully that will get resolved soon. Because I'm pretty sure I was supposed to have access to my drop bag a while back. Did not see it there. So I'm overdue for that. So unfortunately I've had to take in more solid calories, less liquid, which is not good for the stomach. And I need caffeine. So we should be ending the 50K loop here in 6 miles, so if I can trudge through these, hopefully get a reset then, set myself up for the last 15 in the right spot and bring her home. So yeah, so far so good. All right, so here's the situation. On the 50K loop, there was a spot at an aid station that I got to before the aid station opened. So I missed a 3.4 mile loop. Luckily, race director figured it out and told me after I was on the 50K loop and said I just have to do it twice now on my 25K loop, which I'm doing now. So luckily all that confusion got sorted out. And back on track. I got my caffeine, liquid calories, and we got about a half marathon left. Time to go.
The first loop was 6 miles, the second one 31, but I only had about 35 miles on my watch after I finished the second loop. Got back to the starting line at kind of the southeast corner of this map and talked to the race director, and turns out I missed the section near the top of this map that's circled, which is a 3-mile loop I ended up having to do twice on my last lap. A little bit of a mind game at mile 40.
Almost to mile 46, so about a 10K left. Just finishing up this 3.4 mile loop I missed earlier. Man, is it hilly. So, got some Mountain Dew on board. Caffeinated gel. So I'm caffeined up. About to grab a little bit more dew. Stomach's okay. Hips okay. Liquids are staying down. So I'll just keep this up and hopefully shoot for sub 9 hours, which I think is very reasonable depending on where the end mileage is, and anything after that is gravy.
Being 40 some miles in, I felt like I was on the home stretch, still not exactly knowing how many miles were left. The race course was well marked, but this was my first time at the state forest, so I didn't exactly know my way around. This immediately brought to mind something I heard from Jennifer Farr Davis, which states, "Endurance is not knowing how many miles are left, but rather continuing with no end in sight."
All right, so I was informed of some changes, and I might be closer to 7 miles out. So when you feel sorry for yourself, eat Oreos. We'll see if the goal time changes closer to the finish, but it's gonna be tough to knock out 10-minute miles. We'll see. More to come.
Early in the race, I really wasn't concerned about pace. Towards the end, I started to push it a little bit more. Still, I wanted to make sure that I was enjoying every mile that I was running, taking in the sights and the sound, just being in nature alone for 50 miles.
A little misty. Not too bad though. Nice views of the fog here. Just turned over 50 miles a little before 8 hours 20 minutes. Just a little bit slower than last year's pace at Surf the Murph, but that's all right. And somewhere around maybe a 10K to go or so. Not sure, but we're just kind of giving it the rompy red line, doing what we can, you know. But a half hour or so left. We'll kind of see. Took one little pee, tried to see where the urine is at, and it's quite dark. That was my last pee since somewhere in the teens. But yeah,
Just gonna finish it out nice and strong and enjoy the rest of the day. Over and out.
I finished the race and quickly realized how lucky I was to be able to explore this place in such a perfect time of year. The colors were poppin', the weather cooperated, and the trail conditions were perfect. Put all that together, and that's a recipe for a nice little Saturday. I wasn't lucky enough to see any elk during the race, but I did see two icons of the Stars and Bars, the first being this little guy, and the second being a finisher of the 25K or 17-mile race, Mr. Elvis Presley.
Nice job.
Stats on the day were 53.43 miles with an average pace of 10 minutes per mile even, total time being 8 hours 54 minutes and 40 seconds, average heart rate being 142 beats per minute, which I maybe could have pushed a little bit more, but didn't want to go too much and blow up with my hip issues going on. You'll see that the average moving pace was a touch faster than the average overall pace, just due to stoppage time at aid stations to fill up water, and of course to get directions from the race director about redoing that 3.4 mile loop on my last 25K loop of the course that I missed earlier. Temperature started off around 40 to 45 degrees in the early morning and ended up in the upper 50s towards the end of the race. This affected my nutrition and hydration a little bit because I thought it'd be pretty easy to keep up with hydration given the cooler temps, but still I wasn't able to sweat kind of near the end of the race and had to force out that pee near the end of the race as well, just to kind of check on my hydration. And something I will note for future reference is that I need to push the fluids a little bit more. I did take in about 4 to 6 ounces of caffeine in the form of Mountain Dew at every aid station, which was about every hour, and that worked out pretty well. I'll probably continue to do that at races 50 miles and under in the future. Nutrition-wise, I did have to take in a few extra solid calories, which was a touch heavier on the gut. Not my preference, but again, had to make things work and problem solve with that drop bag snafu as well.
I feel very fortunate to have been able to finish the full 85K distance at this year's Black River Trail Classic. I'd encourage any trail runner in the future to use this race as a way to cap off your race season in future years as well. And not only that, for any outdoor recreational enthusiast, I definitely put the Black River State Forest on your bucket list from that mid to late October timeframe in future years because of those peak fall colors. It certainly has inspired me and hopefully has inspired you to keep on romping round.